Hello, YouTube. As you watch this, it is probably January over there. But in my little house, it's still December. We still haven't cleaned up the Christmas tree. It's still up. Everything's a mess. Actually, we're in quarantine right now because we had an exposure a couple of days ago. So this kind of sucks. I can't really go out and do stuff. But it did occur to me. So I was all setting up for a review of this guy, this Jay Henry here, which will be going up in the next couple of days. I'm going to try to record it right after this. Secret. We all, like those of us who do these videos, we kind of do them in bunches. Um, but then I realized, wait, I haven't done a proper like rum review in a while. I did the Coroni as a blind, but before that, like there was a long gap, which is a crime on my part because this channel, I mean, insofar as what I'm trying to do here is to sort of draw people's attention um, towards things that just don't get enough exposure and kind of give them a little bit of a data point on things that don't get that attention. Rum has been a cornerstone of that because like good rum just doesn't get enough exposure. So um, at the same time, um, I've been trying to basically decide if I want to buy another bottle of something I bought last year. So this is a sample I took of Lost Spirits Navy Style Rum from, again, bought last year. 61% alcohol. So I pulled this out for a tasting, rum tasting, and I put it last because this was the one I had no idea what it was going to be like, except I knew it was probably going to be weird. Um, and put it out there. Folks, didn't quite know what to make of it. I think the reaction was generally positive, but you know. And then I took a little sample, as I do, um, and I went back to it to try to decide. Do I get like, do I invest another what 45, $50 in this stuff because it's fun? Um, yeah. So a little history on Lost Spirits. I stumbled across Lost Spirits, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, with a thing they did called Leviathan, which was a peated single malt whiskey, but it was peated with Canadian peat, so not Irish or Scottish peat, so evergreen peat, and it was bizarre. They finished it in or aged it in I think cab dessert Cabernet Sauvignon casks, something weird like that. And so it was a great bottle to pass around to people because no one knew what to make of it. It was just totally off the scope, off the scale, right? And that ever since then they've moved. I think they're in LA now. They're doing tours. They have like stills with big dragons on them. Um, but I've kept an eye on them, and in the meantime, let me add a little bit more of this. I don't think this is a proper amount for sampling. That'll do. Um, I kept an eye, and then they've started making rum. They've made a whole series of rums. This is probably the most prominent of them. Um, I think they stopped making Levi. They're also making something called Abomination, which is just peaty whiskey imported from Scotland, which they've done their sort of the most controversial thing that they do is this. They have some kind of Chernobyl nuclear reactor thing, which they claim can age, something 30 years in a couple of hours. It doesn't work. Let's get that out of the way. That's Mark. It doesn't actually work. Does it produce interesting results? Yes. Does it produce 30-year-old whiskey or 30-year-old rum? Absolutely not. Um, so they make Abomination, which I just find less interesting than Leviathan was. So I hope they bring Leviathan back one of these days. Um, anyway, so this was they put all their ingredients in the bottle, which is kind of nice, um, so what they're doing here is they are making a molasses based rum. Don't know where they're getting their molasses from, but it's molasses. They distill it, and then they sort of put it in their, Chernobyl nightmare machine, and along with some Oloroso seasoned cask or wood, and they blast the hell out of the thing for a couple of hours, and out comes this. All right, so I've talked enough. That's enough background. These folks are controversial, um, and it doesn't matter because what matters is sort of what's in the glass and whether it works or not. Okay, so no age statement on this, but from Callie on the nose. It is such a bizarre nose. Navy style rum, you're expecting, uh, you know, Demerara. Maybe throw some Barbados in there, some Trinidad. This smells like nothing. This smells like, take butterscotch and smother it in like lapsang souchong. Um, just the leaves. Don't stew your tea yet. But then smother that. Put all of that inside like a southern cured ham. Like I'm not talking about the ones where they just shoot it up with water and liquid smoke and sugar. I'm talking about the ones where they actually cure the stuff and hang it for a couple of hundred years. That stuff. That's what this smells like. Um, Black tobacco, black stove tobacco, maybe in a flake form. Um, Old furniture, like dust. It smells dusty. Smells like a cellar. Um, a little bit of like a cherry liqueur thing. Yeah, this is. I mean, this. Well, let's go to the palate. It's unusual. Let's put it that way. But I do like it. It's fun. It's different. On the palate, brutal, and it's not just the nip, the alcohol nip. Um, it's just the sheer volume of flavor going on. It's funny. It doesn't feel young or old. It's sort of not doing the young thing where I expect all the flavors to be kind of concentrated in my mouth, but it's not as. I mean, it's sort of going all over the place, but it feels kind of thin and brittle at the same time. It's very. I mean, it doesn't feel young or old. It just feels like it's off the map somewhere. Um, but the flavors are kind of carry on from the nose. Lapsang Souchong again. Um, Kind of a cigar smoky thing, Mexican Maduro wrap, that kind of like really smoky smoke, that sort of stuff. Hmm. Liquid Maduro smoke. Some like very tarry prunes, but like burned cigar prunes, like they've been in a cigar parlor for a couple of months. Um, Fish sauce, um, soy sauce as well. Actually, like just the low sodium stuff. Um, it has its charm. What else we got? Some like candied ginger, but also left in a cigar parlor for a couple of months. Um, just straight up anise. Just throw some anise seeds in your mouth. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this, and I forgot my um, squirter, so I'm just gonna do this the old-fashioned way. This is shotgunning it. All right, all right. Give this a second. Um, so yeah, this is one of those cases where you have to ask how much does the marketing and the annoyance of the marketing really matter? Because the sort of claims to aging something a zillion years and by magical chemistry and stuff is that is annoying, right? Because it doesn't work. This doesn't taste like honestly, what this comes off as is like aliens, find some tasting notes for like a classic um, Demerara style rum. Like they find the tasting notes for let's say El Dorado 15, the Pushers 15, something like that. And they just, not having tried it, not having ever tasted this stuff, they try to recreate that in sort of from scratch just by the tasting notes. So the it's not even like a cartoon version of a Navy style rum. It almost feels like the end result of like a game of telephone or something, but it's delightful. Um, so it is not. Let's be clear. It is not however old they're claiming it is. It is not even really a Navy reminiscent rum. But I'm enjoying this, and maybe that's all that matters at the end of the day. Um, with some water, you get much more. Even on the nose, there wasn't a lot of cigar going on. It was much more lapsang. Now the cigar is coming out even on the nose, like um, like an old coffee grinds kind of thing. Actually, that was something. No, earlier I was getting like a coffee liqueur thing, and I just didn't mention it because I'm an idiot. But now it's sort of less liqueur, more just coffee grinds. Um, like you've had them in your French press for like a day, and because you forgot to empty it. Lots of heavy lapsang behind there though. Still very butterscotchy, which I enjoy because I like old candy. Um, and just lots of toasted wood, man. Which I'm enjoying. I mean, there's a kind of fruitiness that comes out of this. It doesn't smell like aging so much as like the spirit and the wood, had one passionate night of like hate sex. I mean, and they both feel a little bit weird about it, but they don't regret it. That's what this. That's the combination I'm getting in this. Healthy hate sex. On the palate, it is just. I could see people not liking this because it is so off the scale, but there is a charm to this. It's a little bit sweet, um, but it doesn't feel unnaturally so. I don't think this is dosed. I think that's just the a side effect of the crazy um, whatever the hell they're doing to this. But you're getting the wood is coming out a little bit more. It feels a little more traditional rummy now that I've added some water to it. Wood spice, some pepper, black pepper. Now there's coffee liqueur, but nice, like a little um, and molasses as well. A certain herbaceousness, hard to pin down. Maybe like some thyme in there, some oregano. But it's still it's what's kind of holding this back for me is just that it feels kind of weirdly fragile, like weirdly thin, like in a weird way. It's a completely different flavor profile, right? But it reminds me of the aged Clarence we've had so far, which I've done reviews of, in that it feels like this is in a place where there's tons and tons of wood coming in, but at the same time it hasn't really filled out the mouthfeel. It feels like the wood contact has actually sucked out some of the creaminess that maybe was going on in the spirit here. Um, oh, it's still good though. Yeah, no, I'm okay. So a couple of things. So I don't think I'm gonna buy another bottle of this because I kind of want to see where they're gonna go with it in a little bit. Actually, let me pause this. I'm gonna try something. Um, yeah, I'm gonna pause, and then we'll come back. Okay, hold on. This is a pause. Hey, yeah, we're back. So what I brought, everything live, every because that's all I have time for. What I brought is the Privateer New England Reserve. Um, that I wasn't hugely fond of this, but it's another American rum that is actually aged rather than being having wood hate sexed into it. So all I'm going to do is add a little bit of that into this. So what we got here is an actually aged rum going to this chemistry monstrosity here. And I'm going to put that aside. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I mean the weird thing about this is it's there's tons of stuff going on. There's tons of little flavors, but it all feels a little bit lacking in depth. It feels like there's not a lot of sort of, I don't know, background and going on beneath all the fun, smoky characters. One thing I'm wondering is, well, in the future, one thing Lost Spirits might do is try vatting a little bit of actually aged rum into this. I mean, keep doing what you're already doing. Just like set a couple of barrels aside in the back to age, and then put a little bit of that into each batch you make, just to add some the impression that of like actual aging going on. Here's what I mean. Yeah, the Privateer is not coming through on the nose. It's being completely overwhelmed. I didn't even add that much. I mean, a couple of drops. But on the palate, there we go. I mean, that is a much more complete package. We still got all the smokiness and the weird butterscotch thing and the coffee notes and smoked prunes. But now it feels like there's a little bit more dimensionality to it. It feels like, it's all kind of linked together by this sort of gentle, actual woodiness going on, if that makes sense. That's, in a way I want to hold off on another bottle of this until they begin to play around with this and start, maybe throwing, actually aged stock into this or something along those lines. Start to mess with the formula a little bit because they're already doing it a little bit. I guess this comes in different strengths. It comes in, I think it's like this is 61, but I've seen it at like 67, 55, so there's batch variations, and I want to see where they go with this in 5 years. That being said, I like this quite a lot. I would score. It's impossible to score because some people are going to put this like in the low 70s because it's so weird and so singular. I'm not. I like this. I'm going to put it in at a honest 85. I was thinking about an 85 minus because of that thinness issue, but no. I mean, it's just an 85. It's a good, honest, weird option that I recommend that everyone who's sort of getting tired of the same old seek out. It is worth the cash they're charging for it, and all the marketing and the hoopla does not get in the way of that. So yeah, that's what I got. 85 out of 100. Yeah, that's it. Hope this was helpful.